So you got that swole for that one bit for getting beat up in that chair.
Yep.
Not even the sex scene, just getting beat up in that chair.
Yep.
Last one to the airport buys breakfast. Day one.
All right, Mike, please introduce our awesome guest that we have today.
Listen, man. This episode, this is the creator. I hope y'all know. We got Monica Mitchell in the building. We got my guy Gbenga in the building. So what we doing today? What we about to get into, man?
So we got Monica, who is originally a writer on what season did you join Power?
I joined season 2 of Power, the original Power.
Yeah,
right. So
She's
she's been here for a minute.
Yeah.
She's OG.
An OG.
Yeah.
And we got Gbenga in the building.
Just old.
Listen, I'm a huge fan, bro. I just want to say you have been in everything. You are a legend. And I'm just super excited to have you here. So
Thank
Gbenga's
you.
old school actor, doesn't like watching himself. So I had him come in. He plays RSJ. I had him come in and I was like,
He's like me.
yeah.
like watching
Do the
myself
episode that you're not in. You can recap. And he's like, all right, fine.
Even that, I forgot to watch it. I'm like, he gave me one thing to do.
Yeah, one job, man.
I'm like,
Can you actually talk about that? So as an actor joining a show that's in a 3rd or 4th season, whatever, do you what do you ask production? What do you ask creative? Do you go back and watch? Like, what's your process?
my process has changed over the years. Like when I first started, I was like so anal. I was in everything. I want to see everything. I want to all those things. And then I realized I wanted to give room for for life to kind of create on set, right? And meet the actors and see what they're doing to it. And you walk into other people's homes, as far as the things that you guys built, and so. And it can go either way. Some people are just real standoffish. Some people are just like, yo, come play. And the set was like that, so it was dope. So I just let me just let's play with these guys and just see what happens. So it's been fun. I mean, I've known Courtney also for years. I remember auditioning for Ghost.
Oh.
Yeah, with Courtney.
What?
Years ago.
You auditioned for Ghost?
Yeah. Years
That's
ago.
crazy.
And so, but she also used to be on. She was on the Good Wife when I was on the Good Wife because I'm old. And so,
Bro, you literally look like late 20s. I'm not gonna.
it's the steroids. The trick is to rub it in your skin.
Once you get into the
That's the
skin.
trick. Exactly. That's the trick. And so,
I've just been putting it in my butt. No, I'm kidding. Pause.
no, but we're all about to get canceled. So I was really impressed though too when I started to work with you all and just be on set. Like, oh, this is chill. This is good. And I get to be home in New York, and I'm like, all right, I like showing up to this job, So yeah, and
I'm
you
glad
can
we created that
from
for
the
you.
from the top. Thank you.
Right.
From the top down, it's like that's where usually what the energy happens. And gets disseminated throughout the cast and crew. So yeah.
So how did when did RSJ happen? What's
Yo.
the story with that?
I don't know. I'll go. All right. Here.
We know. I think we
Oh,
all
okay,
kind
you all
of
know.
know the situation,
Okay.
but
So initially, I was supposed to play
Obi.
Obi.
Yeah.
Obi. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I was supposed to play Obi.
because you did the table read for
Yeah,
it.
yes, of course. So
Right.
I did the table read, and so I got my mind behind it. I'd even started the dialect coaching, and the day before we're supposed to shoot, I think it was the day before, I got diagnosed
Oh, shit.
with COVID.
Oh, the French one.
Yeah, the bit with
Rare
COVID.
skin.
And I'm like, no. And no one was like, we're responding back. I'm like, why is nobody responding back? And I find out later, like one, they found I had it, and then they were trying to figure out if given enough time, like if they could move enough things that I could still do it. But I think so much of this obviously is location dependent,
Right.
And then I get a call from my reps like, yeah, so. You have COVID, and
I love how it's not a doctor telling you, it's an agent.
Yep, you got COVID.
so you got the COVID, and we haven't really heard from them because they've been trying to make it work, and they can't, and so you're fired.
Oh,
but they have this other thing, and they're gonna send it to you, and if you like it, that you can rock with that. And afterwards, I was like, how many times do you get fired in a conversation and then hired in another something? So it just reminded me to be grateful,
Right?
And so I'm like, I don't want to read it, I don't want to RSJ, no, because I already got my mind behind this thing. All right, I'll read it, and I read it. I'm like, oh, okay, billionaire, all right.
I can do this.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's how that came to be, and then it was just fun.
You walk around with that billionaire energy.
Yeah.
The second he got on set, I was like, yeah, he's a billionaire.
Like, yep, he's a billionaire.
That's my jet.
Well, it's funny too because we were in the writer on Zoom, but we were in the writers' room when all this happened, and so we had. RSJ was conceived as kind of an older character, maybe in his 60s, a little bit more experienced and sort of someone that'd be a mentor to Tariq. And then this all happened. And so Brett came into the writer's room and was just like, Gbenga's got COVID. He can't. And we were like, what? And he's like, but what do you think about him for RSJ? So we got to kind of reconceive the character. And because we had the lead up time to do that, it was like, we just got to see it in a new way.
I think it's way cooler.
So
cool.
I think
it was
60-year-old
cool.
RSJ wouldn't have been as fire.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as fire.
No,
he was more swaggy.
The energy, but it was definitely more cool.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
And it's kind of easier for a character like Tariq to kind of
Absolutely.
connect with the RSJ rather than an older RSJ.
And nowadays we have billionaires in their 40s.
Yeah.
Right, totally.
Which is crazy.
People don't understand how much of scheduling just comes into what you see on screen.
Yeah.
People be like, well, why wasn't this why was the cat? There's no casket. Why is there no body? What?
Right.
He was unavailable.
Yeah.
They were they're spinning. They're like, he's alive. He's like,
Nope.
he
He
was
just
unavailable.
So
couldn't
you're just
pull
going
up
to see
today.
his feet and a toe tag.
Right. They're like, well, we never saw. It's like there's so much that goes into it. There could have been a whole different character, everything, but it's just the way how it works. People have different schedules. They live different places. So
I don't know if you've ever seen The Wire, but you know Slim Charles.
the greatest show. of all time. I've seen it.
I was actually initially cast as Slim Charles, and we were about to start shooting, and it coincided with the day I was taking classes and I had a clown final, and exactly.
You did clowning too?
Yeah,
I did
yes,
clowning
yes,
too.
yes.
I feel like you kind of have to.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
You do. I was really ignorant at the time. Much of my early career was just saying yes and knowing nothing. And then I remember calling up casting and I'm like, I can't do it. And they said, why can't you do it? I said, I have a clown final. They said, you have a clown final? I was like, yeah. And then they said, okay, are you sure? I said, yeah. And I really want to finish this. And so I turned it down. Wow. And I didn't know that you don't turn down roles on HBO like that. I had no idea. And then they recast, and then a few weeks passed, and I was like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have turned down that role. And then
How'd you do on that final though?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember how I did on it.
I think he remembers The Wire a little.
And then they called me up and they said the writers and producers really like you. They have another role. They want to know if you'll take it. I was driving. I almost drove off the bridge. Yes, I'll take it. And that's how Chris came about.
Damn, it's almost like that energy of being like, yeah, I don't really need it. Because so much of the entertainment industry is people desperate.
Exactly.
So when people come in and they're like, yeah, I got a clown final. They're like, this guy's cool as fuck.
They did tell me that they were kind of indignant, who was this guy to turn us down? And then they came back.
They were probably going back.
Yeah,
It
with
was
that. I didn't. It wasn't a play. I was just ignorant.
That's well,
Memorable as hell though.
Yeah.
No one has given them that.
Yeah. So Monica, I kind of want to. We had Courtney on, and Courtney didn't talk much about staff writing specifically. So you came on Power as a staff writer, correct?
Well, yeah, I originally came on in season 2. I was a script coordinator.
Nice.
So basically, in the writers' room, we've got the staff of writers, and then there's several assistants that kind of help the machine work at that level. And so, as the script coordinator, you are getting all the drafts from the writers or now the outlines and kind of proofreading everything, formatting it, sending it to the network, and then also to production. So you're kind of a liaison between the writers and production, making sure the scene numbers are right. So when they schedule everything, it's not all messed up.
Damn, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Checking
lot.
continuity, one of those. So I was doing that. I'd been doing that for several years prior, just trying to get my break in writing. And then Courtney hired me on for season 2 as a script coordinator. And then season 4, I got promoted onto the writing staff.
So how did you get promoted? Did you have to give her a writing sample? Can you walk us through the process?
Absolutely. So very, very invested in promoting from within. And so most seasons, pretty much every year, she'll allow all the staff writers or ask them to submit a sample script. Usually it's a pilot script, so it's an original series that you've come up with on your own. And then she'll read all of them, and then whatever the staff will allow, like one or two people to get promoted to the staff, then she with a network will get approval to hire us. So I submitted an original pilot that year, and I did not get hired. I was in contention, but someone else who was the writer's assistant at the time actually got the promotion. And so then the next year came around, and so I submitted another script. The first one I had submitted was a little bit more family drama-esque, because that's kind of really what I thought my wheelhouse was at the time. And she loved it, but it was like tonally not as good as the other writers. So the next year I wrote a script that maybe tonally was a little closer, but she didn't like it. Really, it wasn't that good. Like it just didn't work. There were several things she didn't like, but because she liked my script the year before so much, she promoted me. So I got season 4 was that first year as a staff writer.
And what was the first episode you wrote?
410
what was your first
it was when
episode?
Tariq killed by Ray.
Wow.
That was my first episode. I got to co-write it with Courtney. So she was co-writing the finale with the staff writer on Power. So that's
And then was your next one in season 5 when Brayden comes in?
That's right. Yeah, my second one was the introduction of Brayden. That's right.
Wow. So you wrote the Brayden character.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, we all, like, in the writers' room, it's such a collaborative.
Thank you, Monica.
You know how you'll be like, thank you.
Thanks, Monica.
We all, in the room, we all kind of come up with the characters together. So it was a fun character to conceive of. But then once you go off to script, I was the first one taking a stab at his voice. And I got to see all the original casting tapes. So I remember when your tape came in, I was in my office watching all the Brayden casting. And it was like, good. And then yours came up and it was like, oh, that's the guy. Like there was just, I literally went into Courtney's office and I was like, you have to watch this one. This is Brayden.
That's
and she was like, that's him.
But he was written a little bit more like Trace to start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and you guys are brothers, so obviously obviously Trace was created after the fact,
Right.
but there's an edginess and a funny, sarcastic, whatever, but then you brought your vibe to it, so then we kind of leaned into that once we saw.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
That's super fun.
That is so dope. Did you do a tape for Obi or
No.
he's offer only? Whatever.
No, I am not offer only.
This is a
Offer
tape?
sometimes.
This is a tape. I don't
You
know.
don't see my
Just asked me,
career.
he's like, what's a tape?
I
You
don't
don't see my
Tape.
career.
He's got a clown final. You know?
No. I had a clown.
He's like, a tape?
No. I auditioned too. It's sometimes auditions, sometimes offers, and as you guys know, it's all dependent. It'd been going back and forth the idea of me doing the show for a minute, and I've always wanted to work with Courtney. So yeah.
Yeah, 50 was posting some stuff too. He's
my
like, we
God.
got to get Gbenga on the show. Like,
Yep, I remember
that
that.
man's reach is scary.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
I wake up one morning, and my phone's going off, texts, Instagram, everything's going off. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on?
happening?
And then it's people are like, yo, 50 posted you. 50, he's looking for you.
And
at
you
this-
looking for me for
Yeah,
what I do?
Exactly.
I owe money or something? Like,
And at this point, though, we had already started talking about me doing the show, and it was in the works. And I was surprised because I was like, he can find me. We're already talking. And I get on the phone with my managers at the time. They're like, you should respond. I'm like, I don't know what to say to 50 Cent. And then my homegirl goes, you should say, I'm right here, my N-word. And I was like,
It's a white girl. Like,
yes! No way!
You're lying to me.
I'm like, okay, I'll try to figure something out. Thank you.
I'll figure it out. Thank you.
And I was like, bless her heart. But everyone was trying to figure. I'm like, I don't know what to say.
My N-word
And
is
I-
crazy.
And then because she's like, you gotta match him where he's at. And meanwhile, people are blowing me up. He's trying to find you. You better get that bag. Try to get that bag. And I'm like, and I don't know if 50. I know he likes The Wire, and I know he liked Chris. And I'm like, I don't know if he knows that I'm no longer playing Obi. And I'm like, he might be doing this thinking I'm going to be playing Obi, and I'm not going to be playing that, so he might be disappointed, this or whatever. And meanwhile, the day's going by, and then this guy I know, I haven't spoken to in years, really cool dude. He calls me up. He's like, "What's up, man?" I said, "What's up?" He's like, "Hold on a second, let me 50 y'all." I'm like, what? And I'm like, "No, I'm not prepared to talk." If someone had told me that they were about to put him on the phone, I would have said, "No, I'm not prepared to talk to this man. Maybe next week." But and so we ended up talking. Well, he ended up talking, and I was listening for like 15 minutes, and I got off the phone. I was like, Oh, I get it. He's brilliant.
Yeah,
Like,
he just promoted. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, he's a master marketer, and it worked. I was like, people were like, it literally doubled my Instagram following, and like, but it was also scary because I had people calling me that I hadn't spoken to in years. People who I did not know they had my number. People I didn't know. Like I mean like, but his reach was like disturbed. This was last year, right? People are still stopping me in the street. 50's looking for you.
Yo.
It's like, yo, what the 50's looking for you. It's
That's
like this
crazy.
is yo.
I got the message.
Yo,
I think I got the message, guys. Watch season 3.
you ever see The Following? So
no.
it was a show that was on Fox a long time ago, and it's like this guy who was like a cult leader, but his power was he was in prison. His power was that he had you didn't know who was part of his cult. Police, like judges, just whatever. It could they all blended in, and so it reminded me of that because I'd just be walking down the street, and all of a sudden, like a complete stranger, 50's looking for you. Oh my god! 50.
So the name of this episode is Gbenga thinks 50 has a cult.
The reach of this
Yeah, it's
man
crazy.
though is
No,
like
it's insane.
it's like he could get
Right,
you.
but he knows what he's
Anyway,
doing. He
yes.
knew you were cast, and he's like,
Yeah,
let's blow this
exactly,
up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Master,
Let's open the
master
eyes, let's
marketer.
open
I was
the
like,
people's
the guy's
eyes.
brilliant.
Right.
He's brilliant.
He knows how to get the attention.
Yeah, and he
knows how to
takes
get-
those master marketing skills and he just applies them to different industries.
Right.
You know, like whether it's being the literary world, whether it's film, it's just like okay, this
He literally just posted something yesterday. He's doing some unscripted stuff with Hulu now.
Yep.
Like every week, it's a new
Something new.
deal with a
Everywhere.
new
He's
company.
Different.
Like,
He's built different, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break from the episode. Listen, we already know that cuffing season is over and tax season is upon us. So you know what you need to get?
Manscaped. Listen, we're not only taking care down here. Manscaped is here to make sure your paperwork is done and the boys down there is having fun. All right?
Trust the 8 million men worldwide who use Manscaped by going to manscaped.com. Listen, I trust Manscaped more than I trust all of these girls I've been hanging out with.
20% off and free shipping with the code CREW. You know how we feel about shipping. We're not doing that. Make sure y'all use that code.
What's a better way to invest your tax return without getting razor burn?
Manscaped got that full package from head to toe to make sure you get your money's worth this April.
The Performance Package 4.0 is the ultimate bundle to reinvent yourself and your confidence.
Listen, that Lawnmower 4.0, baby, that's the star of the show. Offering a precise shave on all your wildest edges.
Equipped with the LED light heavy on the D, you could get into those areas with ease, even in the dark. More exciting news, now we have the Weed Whacker 4.0, which trims your nose, your ears, everywhere.
Yeah, I was just using that the other day. My nose hairs was getting a
I
little
actually
crazy.
did too. Dude, that thing is dope.
Yeah, it feels good too. It's like a little.
It's kind of
like
like
satisfying a
I
little
know,
bit.
I feel like I'm gonna, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that bad boy been totally revamped with a new blade. Smooth and sharp and precise. Like, it's busting.
And dare I say, it is the best package of all time. The ear and nose trimmer, the underwear, it's got everything, baby.
Listen, this joint is cordless and rechargeable. And it comes with skin-safe technology so you can avoid all those, pulls, tugs, and nicks and nugs and all that crazy stuff.
It also comes with a crop preserver, which is an anti-chafing and moisturizer for your boys.
And a crop reviver. Keep your boys from sticking to your leg and keep them feeling brand new.
Mine's not that big, so it doesn't really stick to my leg. That's mostly his problem, but I still have my own problem. So listen, when we're on set and we need to shave for our scene, everything, we use Manscaped, okay? They have a brand new product just for your beard, not just for your boys.
Listen, we did say the whole package.
The brand new Beard Hedger Pro is the new head honcho.
Containing 9+ products and wet goods.
This is everything you need to craft your signature look.
And listen, you could get all of this for 20% off and free shipping with the code CREW at manscaped.com, baby.
That is 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code CREW at manscaped.com.
Don't just get your money back this year, man. That's not the most important. Get your swagger back too, man, with Manscaped.
Get that thing swinging and dangling, baby. Back to the episode. All right, so before we get into the episode, I just want to I kind of want you guys to go a little bit of your start and how you got into writing and how you got into acting.
we got to know.
Because I mean, I am genuinely interested in both. Like, I really do want to know, and then we'll get into the episode, the last 20 minutes of the episode.
Yeah. So
who
Dive
wants to
in.
say?
who
wants to
wanna
say
dive in
You
first?
wrote the show.
Yeah. So yeah, what started your spark to want to
Oh, okay.
start sharing stories and creating your own stories?
Great question. When I was in college, I studied communications and English. I kind of was like just trying to figure out what was fun for me. My dad gave me a really good piece of advice when I was starting school, and he said, just take a bunch of classes, and the ones that you like, take more of those, which was like a very privileged place to be able to be approaching my education from, but it was really helpful. And so what I did was I took some film classes, I took some creative writing classes, I thought maybe psychology, you know, just kind of testing the waters, and ultimately ended up spending a lot of time studying abroad in undergrad, and which was amazing. And then by the time I was ready to graduate, I had no skills to have a job.
But you had a great time.
But I had a really good time, and I learned a lot.
Abroad?
I studied abroad. I did a program called Semester at Sea, which is amazing. And then I did a semester in Rome, which I know Michael's got some time there. And then I did a semester outside of Sydney, Australia.
Nice.
That's
So
fine.
it was great. It's a really good way to do college if you can find a way to do it that way. Lots of scholarships and lots of side jobs to get that.
Yeah.
But
Is that where the Italy stuff came from? For
I was pitching Italy hard in the room. I was pitching it back in Original Power, but then once we were
really?
in Ghost and we were in college, I was like, study abroad semester in Italy.
Something.
Fucking
So-
COVID.
Yeah, seriously. But I
COVID
was like,
fucked us.
every year I was kind of whispering that. So when we actually got to do that, I was like,
Damn, finally.
we got through it.
finally.
I really wanted us to get to go shoot it there,
Oh
but
my
maybe season 4. But yeah, so I was like, I figured I would go to graduate school, and I was like, it was either film or creative writing. I wasn't exactly sure. And then I had one of those moments as I was sort of like looking at my programs of my options of like, in a quiet moment, I heard the voice that was like, television. And I was like, of course. Like once I realized that TV was always the medium that spoke to me when I was a kid. I loved the long form of it. I loved like being a part of a story and a character's world for a really long time. So that from that point forward, it was just like full speed ahead. I went to graduate school and studied television production, and I just knew I wanted to be in TV. I wasn't even sure that I wanted to write yet at that point. I was taking writing classes, but I kind of was like, I'll do anything. I'll drive a truck. Like I just want to be part of the machine
I know
that
it's
made
so cool.
TV.
It is cool once you see it.
It's the best, and it's like that. Looking for a family experience, kind of outside of in a workplace, is like really. We're together all the time doing this stuff. And so I took a bunch of writing classes. I moved out to LA because kind of that's where you have to be if you want to have a writing career.
Greatest place in the world.
I'm not mad about it. I do love it.
Got my own opinions on that.
I love New York. I actually always wanted to live in New York, but since I moved to LA first, New York is not going to happen. I love that we get to shoot out here. It's kind of best of both worlds. But anyway, so I got an internship on the show Medium, which was Patricia Arquette was playing a psychic. And that was my first shot out the gate. And so I got really lucky. It was season 2 of the show. And so I got to start as an intern and then just be an assistant there.
Monica's the queen of season 2s.
I'll tell you what.
She's like, it's a successful show. Let me just.
Let me just.
She's like, let me wait.
I'll t-
Test the water. Oh, y'all doing good? Y'all probably doing well. All right, let me get
You got room for me?
yeah, it's a good way to do it if you can find your way.
It is though. Come on.
Yeah, so I got to be an intern there and be in all the different departments. They rotated me around, so I got to be on set. I got to be with the writers a little bit. I got to spend a day in the art department and production and post production, and it was a really like all-encompassing experience. So I kind of got to see what was what, and ultimately I knew at that point that I wanted to be in the writing. And so I kind of just had to bide my time. Like I was writing, I was doing scripts, like in my own writers groups and trying to get read. I sold a freelance episode to Medium with the writer's assistant at the time, and we were so excited. Like we finally got our break. It was season 7. It was the last season of the show, and they like called us into the writer's office and they said, "Congratulations, you're writing episode 13." So we're like, "Oh my god!" They're like, "Go buy a fancy car," which we did not do because that's a terrible suggestion. And then 3 days later, we got canceled. So we never.
That's
got
why
to
you don't
write
buy
it.
the fancy
That's why you don't
Exactly.
buy the fancy car.
Exactly.
That's right.
Damn, I'd have been in a
Fancy car ain't
Lambo
too
like,
bad.
fuck. Damn it.
I would have been in the Porsche like,
Yeah.
I should have waited.
That happens every pilot season. Actors get a pilot. Oh yeah, they go and they blow it, and then the pilot doesn't get picked up, and they're screwed.
It's like
Yeah.
signing
You
a
listen to
360
Smartless?
deal.
To what?
Smartless podcast.
Sometimes, some of the episodes, yeah.
Will Arnett, he says every time he walks like onto the lot and he sees like an actor driving a nice car, he goes, "Oh, it's Johnny Got a Pilot." He goes, and Johnny Got a Pilot in a car with driving. Hilarious.
Yeah.
But damn, and then you went to Power right after Medium.
No, so it was a long road. So after Medium got canceled, I did a season on a show for the Sci-Fi Network called Alphas, which was a first season show. We had a good time, and then I jumped over to the show Parenthood, and I got to go seasons 3 through 5 on Parenthood. And from there, then Courtney pulled me over. I was friends with her for a couple years before Power went, and then when she was developing the show, I was on a really long hiatus because we had like 6 months off from Parenthood. So I was hanging out with her while she was like meeting writers and like having kind of just doing the interviews and stuff, just as as friends. And so I was kind of getting the behind the scenes of the how it was all coming together. And I was actually with her when she got the phone call that Power got picked
She
up.
said that on her episode.
Yeah, it
That's
was
fire.
awesome. So we were at Coffee Commissary on Fairfax in Los Angeles, and Vladimir Svetko, who wrote on a bunch of seasons of Power and then on season 3 of Ghost, also had been like, he was having lunch inside the restaurant, and he was like looking for a job, and Courtney's like, "Do you have a script? I'm staffing right now." So it was really like
This whole
opportunity and preparation meeting for a bunch of people. And so Courtney pulled me over actually season 2 to script coordinate.
Damn. Yeah, Vlad's writing on Penguin now.
That's right.
With
yeah.
Birdo.
Penguin looks, yeah, that shit looks good.
That new Batman show. But
that looks fine.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
And then that's how Brayden's
and-
Listen, Monica,
Cut
I owe you
to-
10% of everything.
Listen, I'm come collecting.
She's not playing no games.
Nah, the boys
yeah.
is coming over to Netflix soon. So.
We coming.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's
it's over.
crazy though.
Yeah, so from there I got to, I was script coordinating on Power, and then Courtney, created an opportunity for me to get promoted, and I co-wrote my first episode with her, and then since then I've gotten to write a script or two every year, and I actually think this 306 is my 11th, I think, episode that I wrote. Wow. Which I'm not sure, but it might be the most of anyone in Power other than Courtney, because a lot of, because I was there for the sequel as well, and then it was a lot of the original writers had moved on at that point, so I got some
Belt
scripts
heavy,
behind
man.
me.
That belt is heavy right
11
there.
episodes.
Yeah.
Of Power. Wow.
Well, Power and Ghost, including Ghost.
Residuals.
Man.
This is coming in.
green envelopes.
So last thing, I just have one question. So how does it work in the room?
Yeah.
Like you all obviously
We've
get
been
together.
there, but it's like the way it looks. It's like, how do you guys navigate throughout this whole room? Like, what is
Yeah.
Like, what is what?
So coming in at the beginning of the season, we kind of start with a blank slate, and so we'll know how we ended the season previously, and so we'll come in knowing kind of like what we have to clean up, and we'll spend a month or however long we have sort of just pitching out what are really big things we'd like to see for the season. Where do we want to take each of our characters? Kind of coming up with big arcs. We'll pitch it out to the network. We'll write documents. You guys, the actors often get a character document for what's going to happen with them through the season. And then from there, once we get approval on all of that, we start breaking individual episodes. And so as an entire room, we sit down and we say, okay, this is episode 1, and we need each scene has to have these things happening in it. And then once we've broken the whole episode and blended it all together, then whoever's assigned to write that episode will go off and write an outline. All the writers will read the outline, we'll give notes, and then they'll go write a script. And so, collectively we're doing the big picture stuff, and then individually or as a team, you'll go off and write the specifics. And then, of course, we all give notes, so everyone's got a hand in it. But if you are writing that script, you kind of have a much bigger say on like the dialogue and, fun little moments that are kind of maybe more surprising or unexpected.
So each writer gets assigned an episode.
Yeah.
Do you know when it starts? Or you don't know till.
Yeah, usually the way Courtney always did it and the way Brett did it at season 3 with us as well was that coming in for episode 1, we'll get the assignments for the whole season. So when it's your turn to write the episode, you'll get to lead the room and you'll get to kind of be the boss as we're breaking your episode and kind of spearhead everything. So everyone gets a little bit of experience to kind of like learn how to be in charge and managing. And then, luckily on this show, we've been able to produce our episodes. So we get to come out and travel here and be on set with you guys and kind of get to know the crew.
Which is a dream, because when we need to, if you see something, you're like, I kind of want to say this. Like, we work with the writers, and then they'll just kind of change it on the day, which is great.
Yeah, it's the best.
I love
It's the
that.
best. It's the best.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you going into that, because I've always, been
She got the
curious.
heaviest belt, 11. 11 under there. You got 11 on the belt. That's the
Come at the
championship.
Thank you so much, Monica. All right, so Gbenga, we'll bring it on over to you. So, like, what was day one at? Like, when were you like, I want to be an actor?
That's a very good question. I mean, I started in DC. I went to college on a wrestling scholarship. I was a D1 wrestler, and
you look ripped.
so let me find the tightest shirt I can. And
Extra small,
so I don't
look
have
at
to
that.
work out. Just wear a tight shirt. And when I graduated, I wanted to continue wrestling. I had a pretty decent wrestling career, and so I was trying to figure out sponsorships. And in the meantime, I worked for the federal government for a year, and I got curious about acting during that process, during that year. And I bought some books. I started researching it online. Started submitting myself to anything in the DC area, and I was an extra on The Wire. I was background extra in the pilot episode. I had submitted to different theaters, and so finally I was cast I was cast at the Shakespeare Theater, like as part of the ensemble of a play a trilogy of the Oedipus cycle, and I resigned with the government and started doing it there, doing it that way. And I would just go to take classes in DC. I would go see theater. Now I felt so behind everyone I was working with. I'm on a professional stage now, like third soldier from the right, and then all these people had gone to all these fancy schools. So I started just reading a contemporary play a week, a classical play a week. I'd go see theater like several times, and I was now in a play every night. So I was just, and I'd write. I'd learn monologues. Like I'd write the first line, write the first, second line, first, second, third line. I'd fill up whole notebooks of monologues, just trying to learn as much as I could. And it was also just all new and exciting. So yeah, that was, and then eventually, so I did that in DC for about a year, and then I was invited to come up. Michael Kahn, who was the artistic director at the Shakespeare Theater, directed the Oedipus cycles I did there. He was also head of acting at Juilliard, and he invited me to come up and audition. And I remember saying to some of the folks in the cast of the play, like, I'm already acting. Why would I go up and audition it? And at Juilliard, and they said to me, "No, you want to go up there and do this." I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, when I came up to New York, I decided to audition at some other schools, and then I stopped acting to go back to school. Ended up going to a school in New Jersey for a couple of years, and that's when I ended up getting like Slim Charles. I was going to shoot it. And then I had the clown final, and then I turned down Slim Charles, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't have turned down Slim Charles, and yeah. So it's been a very interesting road.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing you ever booked was The Wire.
The first TV show. I mean, the whole time I was doing theater as well.
Right.
I remember the first play I ever did was David Ives' All in the Timing at Tacoma Park Community College. While I was still working at the government, it was like that first opening night, it was like a hit.
I was gonna say, like, how nervous? How nervous?
I was completely nervous. I was like, they're gonna kick me off the stage. I make no sense, you know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just saying things, and then the audience stood up, and I was like, it was like a dopamine hit to the brain.
That
I was like,
was going crazy.
oh yeah,
you had an adrenaline rush.
I was like, I got to find out
do
more.
this
I got to figure this out. I actually have to get good at this and do it. I mean, so it was, and so I loved it. I still
That's
do
a great
theater.
feeling right there.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah.
You get a feeling from doing something, you better stick with it.
Yo, as long as you can. Well, we are so lucky to be able to do this, especially at the level in which you're doing it. It's like makes no sense.
It's a blessing,
you know.
That's literally what happened when I did improv for the first. I had a first live show at improv. I was 18 years old. I will never forget the noise that laugh made in the room. It was a packed room. I made the whole room die laughing, and it was like a drug. I was like, that's it. Because I've been doing it in every classroom from 14. You know what I mean? Since I was really young. And then by the time you're 18, you're a senior, you're in class with everyone. Like, your jokes are just not hitting. Your jokes are just not hitting anymore. And then all of a sudden, you're in a room full of people. I was on stage with all adults.
Yeah.
And I just was murdering. And I just remember being like, I need this. I need
Tomorrow?
this.
Yeah. Back tomorrow?
What do they call it again when you do it again?
Encore.
I'm coming back. Yeah, that is just, it's crazy. It's just a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break from the episode real quick and help y'all save some money.
So when it comes to saving money as a small business owner, every little bit helps.
Every dollar, every penny, every cent, every quarter, every nickel, whatever it is, it counts. ShipStation gives you access to discounts up to 84% off with USPS and UPS.
Not only that, you can manage every order from one simple-to-use dashboard.
When you lower your shipping costs and make returns easy, your customers stay happy while you save money.
Using the ShipStation dashboard to manage all your orders is so easy.
Right now, ShipStation is offering a free trial and a quick setup, so now's the time to start with ShipStation.
I'm saving so much money with these new ShipStation rates, man. I swear to God, I'm buying a new Porsche.
ShipStation hooks you up with industry-leading discounts, so you'll never got to overpay for shipping or none of that crazy stuff.
Over 130,000 companies have built their e-commerce business with ShipStation.
And 98% of these customers that use ShipStation for a year, they end up being a customer for life.
Listen, their return rate is way bigger than mine because they don't come back to me. Go on, Mike.
And listen, all your shipping is handled on one simple-to-use dashboard.
Their dashboard easily integrates in with everything. Amazon, Shopify, eBay. They sell there, you name it, integrates. You can print shipping labels.
automate shipping tasks,
Easily compare rates.
and you can set delivery times to optimize your shipment. Come
All
on
from
now.
this easy-to-use dashboard. Come on, it's so easy. Mike and I can do it.
So ShipStation grows while you do.
Worry less about the bottom line when you can save money with ShipStation.
Go to ShipStation.com and use the code TheCrew so you can set up your 60-day free trial. 60 days and it's free. Man, I better go sign up. But don't forget the code TheCrew.
Listen, if you guys want to see awesome behind-the-scenes content, everything, more guests, please support our sponsors. It helps us. It helps us be able to do more. So make sure you go to ShipStation.com and use the promo code TheCrew.
Yeah, ShipStation is the reason I could pay for my M5 right now.
Back to the episode. But yeah, dude, that's dope. That's dope. And now we got Gbenga in the building as RSJ.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
RSJ
digging
is in the
it.
building.
I'm digging it.
RSJ is in the building.
I
going
don't
on,
know.
RSJ.
I actually, this is my last episode, and after season 3, I moved on to another project. So I don't know what's happening in season 4. That'll be news to me too.
Damn.
RSJ might be back. But speaking of season 3, let's get into the episode
Let's
a
get
little
into
bit.
the episode, baby. This one was a spicy one. I think this is like, I mean, obviously, episode 1 was, pretty spicy. But I think this might be the spiciest so far.
Yeah, it's funny
There was
because
so much going on.
right, my mom texted me and she said this episode reminds me so much of the original Power Days, and she doesn't know who's writing what or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, it's funny you say that because Monica literally wrote the episode and she wrote on Power for
Yeah,
4
OG.
seasons. So it's crazy how sometimes people can see that without even knowing
It's just
anything.
there. It's
Right.
just there.
And Gabby, I want to say too. I co-wrote
shout
with
out to Gabby.
Gabriella,
Yeah, shout out
and
to Gabby.
Gabby was
We love
she was
Gabby.
with Courtney from day one, so she's even more of an OG than
We're
I
gonna
am.
get Gabby on
Yeah.
here too. Did she write? She wrote a previous episode this season.
No,
right?
she wrote 9, I think.
9.
Yeah,
Ooh.
9's coming up.
We could have her in here for 9.
Got to pull up on the boards for 9.
I know you guys are busy, but so we start off the episode. They get the phone call that Lorenzo is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were on set the whole.
So I actually wasn't. Gabby was on set the whole time, and then I came out for about a week or so of shooting. Yeah, I was there for like a week. I wasn't able to do the
was
whole.
so long
the whole
ago, I
episode.
remember.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh, I hope I remember this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did. We started off with kind of like around the world or intercuts of the Tejeda kids, kind of like living their lives and actually having peak moments for each of them. You know, we got Kane winning a poker game or whatever. We had Drew finally drawing again for the first time. We had Diana hooking up with Salim, and like each of them in their own peaks. Sorry. And then having the world come crushing down when they heard the news about their father.
Yeah, it's crazy because you said before we came in you love a funeral episode. Huh?
I do. I've written so many. I wrote Ghost's funeral. I wrote Angela's funeral. I didn't write this funeral. Actually, Gabby ended up writing this funeral, but I wrote the Tariq at the cemetery scenes in this episode.
Yeah. Those are fire.
But yeah.
That scene was good with you and Big
Estelle,
Mama.
yeah.
Ooh, bro, that scene was so good. Where you guys, she was like, "You're gonna end up just like your father."
Yeah.
It's crazy, and he's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like overlooking the whole thing, like you were overlooking Weston Holdings, like Ghost was overlooking Truth, and he's like, "Yeah,
This is my shit.
yeah." It's crazy. So, I'm trying to think
It's
like.
crazy though how like the older kids are just enjoying life in the beginning, and then like it just goes to show that nothing could be too good in the universe of
Bro,
power.
ever.
Nobody could enjoy anything for too long.
Right.
Can you tell us about that? Like, stuff is never going good.
Yeah.
And so what is the reason for that? Like for example, the perfect example of this is No Cap, all frap is crushing it. The boys are finally. We got a connect. We got all this stuff, and now all of a sudden there's guns. It's like it can never be smooth.
Yeah,
Right.
like what happened to the drugs?
Yeah.
That was guns?
Yeah, no,
You
we
can't
moved
sell
the
them.
drugs now. They're like guns now.
Yeah.
So can you talk about how that has to come into play?
I mean, I think, listen, on the most basic level, it's like, it's super great for Brayden and Tariq if everything's going well, and it's super not fun to watch. As
Right.
you know.
Right.
It's
So,
okay.
we got to find the way where this drama's coming and where may it be coming from an unexpected direction.
Right.
That
Yeah,
is
because
true.
that was kind of out of left field.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then we got to move the gun. So we'll kind of talk about everything not going great with Brayden and Tariq. So we have our little fight scene.
Damn, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's crazy? That seemed like how many times did we
We didn't do it that many times.
We did it, right?
No, we did it like maybe like 2 or 3 times. And I honestly don't even think they used like the best takes
Yeah,
for
they
us.
didn't. I don't think they used the best take at all.
Yeah, 'cause we had some crazy tapes.
Like even not even just like the fighting, like the actual like the words.
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel like we had a few more takes that were like, you know, like I feel like this whole episode, like, well, me like specifically, I had a few more. I don't know.
I
like
felt
had
the
a few
same.
more
I
things.
felt like I had
wasn't
a
in
little
pocket.
bit. Yeah.
I feel like I wasn't in pocket for a lot of this shit, but
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Hey.
But
It's
for the people asking,
And also, my fit for that fight was so fire.
yeah,
It
it was
was
fire.
great.
Alexander
You
McQueen-
ripped.
I
You
ripped it,
Yes,
that's right.
yes. I ripped my pants that day when I.
Those were like $4,000 pants.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they were expensive as shit. They actually did like a breakdown on Instagram. The whole fit is like 8 bands.
Oh my
God.
Yeah.
And I just
Was,
ripped
was it
pants.
culture shock for you when you came on the show and you saw all like the crazy outfits? Were you like, damn? Because you're mostly in like suits, anyways.
yeah.
So you're not
But
really
billionaire suits, so
Yeah.
they
Right.
gotta be nice.
They're nice suits, nice coats. Ooh,
Yeah, the coats are crazy. They have like the
Yo.
double breasted coats.
Yeah.
They got like the.
what happens to those coats?
Right, like, do they
I'm
use
telling
them
you,
again?
you gotta talk to Frank Fleming. That's
Yeah,
it.
you gotta talk to Frank Fleming, man.
But like that doesn't really happen on shows. Like you're mostly getting like secondhand stuff. They go to like thrift shops. Like that's where a lot of the wardrobe comes from.
Well, it depends on the
It depends
show.
what the show is.
Yeah, it depends on the show, and it's a mixture of it. But yeah, this is a very tailored show,
Yeah.
especially with with where Tariq is going now. Let's get he's in the business world, gangster business world, but everyone's tailored, Yeah.
And they find the perfect balance between like being tailored and still having like the swag at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially for us, like being on Wall Street, swag.
Yeah, I definitely want Frank to come in here and talk about the specifics
Yes.
of why he chooses things for certain characters.
Yeah, because they actually choose like the color of outfits for certain scenes, and
Right.
even for like like the color of the outfits that the character picks for the whole episode. It kind of like goes in hand with what they're going through or what another character is going through. It's actually crazy. So
Yeah.
we gotta get Frank on here, bro. Frank, pull up on the guys, man.
Yeah, it is interesting, but also I wasn't getting slammed like that. Everyone was like, "Dude, your
Right.
back must be hurting." They would not let me do it. I wanted to do
Yeah,
it. I
but
was
they
like,
wouldn't let 'em,
yeah,
yeah.
I was like, I'll do it, but they wanted the stunt double to do it.
It
because,
was so funny to see because we were, I was on set that day and we had the stunt doubles for both of you, and they looked so much like you when you guys were
Yeah.
dressed in the same outfit. So I've got photographs of like them sitting against the wall and you guys
Right.
fighting or vice versa, and it's like you kind of almost can't tell who is who because
Especially if you look from behind,
from certain
like, you're
angles,
looking at
it was weird.
Yeah.
It was like the one of the weirder on set moments I've had of just like, wait, I feel like I'm crazy right now because there's double everything.
yeah, they'll literally put on the same outfit as us.
Yeah.
And they,
Speaking of same outfit, I got like 4 of those, so I know one of them can go. Because y'all put them on all the stunt doubles, so I know one of them could come
That's
home
a
with your
good
boy.
point.
Yeah,
I
double
have a
up.
suit, so I don't even. I never wear suits. I don't even care. I'm like, take it, whatever. But I see that Amiri in there. I'm like, Frank, give me that Amiri. Okay, so then we go over to the Russian stuff. So last episode, where did we leave off with the Russians into? You don't really remember?
I don't
huh?
really remember.
She's so far into her next show.
Oh,
Where
so
did we
this was so
leave?
long ago. It was a year ago that we shot this.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
there is
so
some change now.
Yeah.
You killed the Russian.
Yes.
And they thought it was because it was supposed to be a white
Right,
face.
right.
So then they thought that that it was the Tejadas.
One of the Tejadas.
Right. So then Monet blamed the kill of Lorenzo basically on the Russians. So obviously Drew takes that into his own hands
Yep.
and he goes to where they hang out. So he stabbed one of them, right?
Yeah, Vadim, I think he stabbed like
Yeah, he
in the
stabbed
ribs.
Vadim.
Right.
We shot that actually at the Russian tea room, which was dope.
I did hear that was
Yeah,
really cool.
That was really cool.
And that's in the city?
It was in the city,
The
yeah.
ambiance in that scene was fire though. Like when he's walking in
Yeah.
and you see everything, like, and then you see them sitting down
reds
drinking. It's,
and-
it's
yeah.
fire. The reds and then all the lights is fire.
Yeah. So, and then we go to the funeral later,
Yeah.
and then the Russians show
They
up.
come in. Oh man, they got back.
Yeah. and
Which
they
was
come
like old school power style.
Fire
like
Yeah.
shit,
shooting
getting
up
the
a funeral.
Yeah.
getting shot
Yeah.
up. Yeah, like that's.
up. Were you on set for that day or no?
I wasn't. Gabby was covering that.
Damn.
I know.
I
wish
was
could give-
curious to see
yeah.
like what it was like, but
Yeah. That was a fire ass scene.
I think I mean I'm
getting
sure it was
popped
a
at the top
very
of the truck.
long day because there were so many characters in those scenes that it's the coverage you have to do. It probably was 2 days actually, if I had to guess.
Nah, that definitely 2 long days.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. Had to be.
It's funny. I like actually watching the episodes with my little brother because he doesn't know much about like how stuff happens. So I get in his head sometimes. So Mike, can you talk about how they do the subway scenes?
The subway scenes. Oh, that was actually crazy. We actually shut down the subway
Yeah.
for a few hours during that scene. It was completely quiet. We were the only ones in there. They were operating the train. Like we had the full control of the train and everything. Like it was just the crew, some background, and then We was just getting to work.
Where did you shoot that? What stop? What train?
That was I think Delancey, I believe.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the sign said Delancey.
Yeah,
I
I think
remember,
it- yeah, I
like
think it
when
was-
we watched it on the show.
It did,
said
right? Yeah, it was
Delancey,
Delancey. Then I think it was Delancey. Yeah.
It's wild. My little brother literally was like, so they have to hop
it's a
in, and then
lot.
in 30 seconds they have to shoot that.
Nah,
and I
nah,
was like,
nah,
yeah, I was like, nah, they shut it down. Like, they do
Yo,
all that
imagine
stuff.
having to shoot like that though.
Oh
That
my
would
God.
be literally impossible.
Yeah, you could never do it.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's like how like a lot of filmmaking can be, though.
Gorilla.
Yeah, the guerrilla filmmaking
Those are
is
the
like,
best though. Those are the best. I love
You see, like the NYU students like trying to make their films too,
Yeah.
like running out the subways or
Yeah.
whatever. You said all over LA as well.
I did this movie years ago, the Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
And
you were in that. I love that movie.
I'm like the Forrest Gump of this business. Like you're like in the background of all these different movies, and so we shot a lot of that like in Astoria at Abbey Kaufman, but also on real tracks that were dead, like Hoyt Skimmerhorn. And there's all these dead tracks that you have no idea about. Like you just like go over a few tracks, and there's like tunnels and tunnels and tunnels that you never even see on your day going back.
yeah.
Because they don't use them.
No.
Yeah.
So I remember we had to get like trained, like to take a class, whatever, to go down into the tracks, to walk to those dead tracks, to shoot down there, and it's wild. We breathed in a lot of black stuff.
Yeah,
it was
that's
nasty,
not good.
but it was fun shooting the movie. I mean, Tony Scott was amazing as a director
Yeah.
to work with. Yeah.
What was the craziest set you ever were on?
Define crazy.
Crazy like in a good way, not crazy in like the director's like gonna like punch you in the head, like
I've seen those too.
Yeah, I figure because
Yeah.
you've been in a lot of
I-
shit.
It's let's see, crazy as far as fun. I mean, I just had fun, and I was in Calgary shooting this movie called The Thicket with Peter Dinklage, and that was it's a western, and we're all like back in the day, and we're shooting every day outside and like in snow that's like 2 or 3 feet deep, and like riding horses, and it was dope. It was really dope. You know, it was cool. It was tough because it's real wilderness. You know, we're shooting outside of Calgary, but we had a great crew. We had a great cast. Yeah, it was tough though.
Like horse stuff, that's not easy. Did
No.
you have to ride a horse?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
I loved it. You know, like it's funny. I was so I had to do some horse training for the old man, and like it's a dope show. I don't know if you ever seen it, but it's a dope show. But we ended up, because of the COVID shutdown, and then Jeff Bridges, who's on the show, ended up getting lymphoma, and we had to shut down again. I never shot anything as far as on the horses, but the horse training came in handy for this other thing.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll teach actors what, if you book something and you're a sword fighter, this and that, they'll put you through like rigorous
It's
training.
one of the best things about
Best
this
part,
job.
right.
You get to live so many different lives. Horse training, sword training, language, whatever. You
You
get
could
to
be a
live.
basketball player,
Yo,
football
you
player,
can
like,
learn so
yeah.
many different things.
What's the
UFC
craziest thing you had to
fighter.
learn?
I remember once I did what'd you say?
The UFC
that,
fighter.
that I did a show. Oh, I'm dating myself. I did a show called Numbers back in the day, and I got to play a UFC fighter, and I love combat sports, and so they brought in like a UFC fighter to train me.
Who was it?
I forget his name. It wasn't like it's just somebody in the UFC,
Right.
and it was and this other dude was training me Muay Thai, and I was so
Nice.
sore,
You
but
do Muay Thai,
yeah.
it was dope. Yeah, so I got to like toss around at this big arena, octagon, and so on. But this is stuff like when I graduated, the UFC had just started, and I'd considered going in that direction. But like, it would have been a very different life. But
Yeah.
So this was like
No billionaire suits, that's
no,
for sure.
no.
That smile.
No.
Yeah, that would have been.
But it's
Different.
the glory of it, knowing your body that well, knowing just pushing yourself to the limit. So now let's play one on TV.
Honestly, the best of both worlds.
Right, it's so much better because you get like you're like not actually getting hit, and in the scene you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to my trailer. I'm gonna go get my massage now.
Get my
Bring me
feet
my
rubbed.
egg whites.
My egg whites, spinach. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact.
Okay, on to where I loved this scene where you and Effie are in the car and you are driving. So that was a green screen. I could tell.
No, I was
think it
driving.
was. Oh,
No. I was driving actually. I was driving,
No, there was some footage.
but not the whole way though.
Yeah.
Not the whole entire time. I was driving a little bit,
It looked green screen. So maybe
But a lot of it. I think did we do a green
The
screen?
long drive part of it was green
I don't
screen, and then
even
when you
remember
pulled
doing
into
green screen, do
the
I?
yeah, when you pull into the thing, that was real. Where you
I
pull
do
in
remember
and you're
doing
at the
green
lake.
screen. Yeah.
But the green screen was definitely while you guys were having the conversation
of course,
driving.
of course, yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
bro,
that scene
that's
was crazy. Whose choice was it to give me that red lamb truck though?
That was fire.
Oh, I don't know who picked the car. I'm sure that was some combination of Gabby and
Right.
Erica Watson who directed it, and probably Nick Props.
Yeah, my guy Nick. Shout out
Yeah,
Nick.
but we wrote some sort of like luxury car into it, and then once we got to production, they get to decide.
Why did you guys write that in?
Because I was supposed to be taking her on like a nice date
Well,
or something
so
like that,
yeah,
right?
and it was actually we had written that before we decided that you were going to get a car. So you would have had to rent a car anyway. So
Yeah.
and then once you got a car, we're like, okay, it can't be the car that we know you have because you're taking her out there. We can't, you don't want to be seen doing anything. So we
Right.
had to get you and we were like, they just came
It's-
back from Italy. He's on a fucking high. Like,
Yeah, got the
he's getting
Italian
something
truck.
fancy.
We came
It
from
was so
Italy,
funny.
got the
Everyone was on
Italian
the
truck,
comments
yeah.
were like, Tariq finally gets a car. Now he's renting something.
Listen, man, you gotta be strategic. Like I say, y'all didn't even want me to have a car. He's like, oh, he doesn't need a car. He's gonna
Yeah.
be too hot. They're gonna
Yeah.
see him. He's a drug dealer.
Well, that's also what people are saying about the Porsche. They're like,
That's what. That's
yeah.
exactly what I'm saying. So now this is what we do. Now that we hot with the Porsche, we don't use it for everything.
Right.
We get the Lambo. You know,
It's
you get the Lamb
strategic.
truck.
Murdering someone in a Lamborghini truck is crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely not conspicuous at all.
Not at all, no.
It's honestly almost so inconspicuous that you're like, oh, there's no way he did it. There's no way he did it in a lamb truck.
Yeah, right.
But how was that scene with you and Alex? Because
Man.
you guys that was emotional.
Nah, yeah, it was definitely a lot. Obviously, Alex had to cry. It was like it was a long day as well. It was kind of like hot. I think that day. It was kind of weird that they we shooting like the weirdest times and temperatures. But yeah, it was a great scene. Me and Alex, she's a great scene partner. We always locked in. So like it was great. Me and her just getting to play with those emotions, going up and down, and yelling, and it was dope. Shout out to Alex. She killed that shit.
Yeah, how did
You
she
guys
get
were
back?
Great in that scene.
How did she get back? Chris is laughing. Did you have that same question? How did
I
she
know,
get
I
back?
saw that on Twitter a couple times too.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean Uber. I don't know. Yeah, you got a phone.
It's so funny because
She probably
like,
fucked around with cocaine, bro.
right. It's so funny because people like need to know the
Yeah.
little things. Like
Yeah,
for
right?
example, when we left Italy after I got beaten up, and then Tariq gets me in the car.
Yeah.
They're like, we didn't see Brayden get on the plane back to. They just thought I was
Right.
left in Italy, but really I was in that scene in the lobby. Remember we shot that?
Yeah.
I was in that scene, but they probably just cut it for time because they got to cut stuff for time. But it's like if you added in all those minute things, the show would be so boring. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we have to get Effie Ubering back. She's just in the back.
Right. When did they brush their teeth? Yeah,
Right.
it's like it's so.
Right.
I'm surprised nobody said we didn't see Tariq get his license. How he got a car?
yeah.
I know we only ever saw him have one driving lesson with Tommy and
Right.
Howard. That's all.
After that, I got my license.
It's
That
like
was my
the
class.
minute things. It's just like we're seeing the highlight of these people's day.
Exactly.
It's like no one's brushed their teeth in power ever. Okay, but also so then Effie shows up and we're locked out of the Weston building.
Yep.
Which he locks me out of. I'm like, it's the fucking Weston building. So me and Effie have that exchange,
Yeah.
and then cut over to then we go to Westing Holdings,
Yeah.
and then Tariq is locked out of
How the
Westing
tables have
Holdings.
turned.
But what I did love at the end of that episode is we did kind of have that Ghost and Tommy moment where we were at the dock.
We weren't
Yeah,
cool, but
Red
we had
Hook.
to make shit work.
Right.
He was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Got
it's
you.
like, listen, this is what we got to do to survive. So
That was
we,
a fire
we
scene.
don't have a choice. It was
That
a
was a
fire
fire
scene.
scene,
I love that that location. That location
Yeah.
is actually right next to the warehouse where
Yeah, it is.
No Man Obi's warehouse.
That's
is.
right. Yeah.
And then we had that.
It was cold that night. I think.
It was cold as
Shooting that
shit.
scene.
Yeah.
It took bad long to do that scene too. It was freezing, bro. I'm like, bro. And we was by the water, because we was by the water and everything, windy.
You don't
tough.
have to do any of that stuff
was
because
tough.
all the
You're just always in the
RSJ stuff
office.
is in luxurious places.
The jet, the office.
Yeah, the jet office. He's
I'm
like,
not
hold on.
complaining.
The
I'm not
conference,
complaining.
He's never
right.
complaining.
It could have been so different for you, man. You could have been Obi. You could have been in that warehouse.
Yeah.
That warehouse almost
Yeah.
killed me, man.
Is the warehouse cold?
Got him sick one day.
Oh no.
Yeah, we'll talk about it because it's so funny what happens, like what the scene actually was.
Yeah.
But what's the favorite thing up to this point in episode? We are in episode 6. What's your favorite scene you've done so far as RSJ?
Ooh. I don't know.
Did I put you on the spot? All right, I'm gonna go over to Monica. Think about it for a second.
It's tough to not spoil it too, because
Yeah.
he might fuck around and think like, damn,
If
this
you
one is
spoil
from
it,
episode 8.
if you spoil it, we'll just cut it.
So-
You don't have to worry.
I'm not spoiling it. The jet scene already
Yeah.
happened, right?
Yep.
That was fun. Shooting on that was fun.
The private jet.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
actually
yeah,
were
yeah,
at a
yeah.
hangar.
The hangar.
Yeah,
that was
that
fire.
was dope.
That was
Yeah.
fire. That was fun.
cool. Yeah.
He was looking swagged out that day.
Yeah, everybody.
And the
Black
country
trucks.
club stuff. The
yeah,
country club stuff was
yeah,
cool
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
no, what are you talking about? No, not the
The
what's it?
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where we were introduced to RSJ was
Right.
at the at the country club, right?
yeah, that.
That
It
was
was like
fun.
a conference, wasn't it, or something like
The
that?
speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then David Walton, who plays Uncle Lucas,
Lucas.
he comes in. He goes, "The chopper's leaving in 10." like he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, "Let's get to
Everybody
the
get
chopper."
to the chopper.
Yeah, that was another good day. But yeah, there's some RSJ stuff coming up that we're
Yeah.
gonna get into. So I
gonna be lit.
can't wait to see it. I can't wait to
yeah.
see it. But what's your favorite thing you've ever written on Power? Your favorite scene?
Ever. Oh God. Okay. One of my favorites was I got to write Tariq's eulogy for Ghost, and like
That was
writing
a fire
it was
one.
really satisfying. And we were in the writers' room, and I kind of just got sent off, and I was like, I'm gonna go write the eulogy, and I was like, I don't even know how to start. And I went to my office, and I just kind of like had a spark of energy and like,
and he was like, "Let's do it."
inspiration. So I did it real quick, and then I went back into the room, and I was like, what do you guys think of that? And they were like, I think that's it. And so it kind of was that. And then, so that was really exciting. And then I got to be on set when Michael did it. And this is the only time I've seen this happen, but he worked this is not the only time I've seen him work his ass off. But he did work his ass off. He was so prepared. And then he went up and he did it. And he did it several times. And at the end of it, when we cut, the whole crew and
it was
cast
crazy.
applauded and stood up and just gave him a standing O.
That scene was fire.
Shout out
was
to Lorenzo, man.
great.
Shout out to Lorenzo.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot during that scene. He was just like, he put me to the side before we started filming. He's like, listen, my brother, you got this. And I don't know exactly what he told me, but he told me like a good piece of information that has just stuck with me for that whole day. And I was just like, yeah, we ready. I'm ready to get into it. But yeah, that was a crazy scene. I love that scene.
I remember seeing that scene. I was like, oh my God. Killed that.
Yeah. They didn't even use the one where I cried the most, though.
That's true. But I think it's good because I think
Yeah.
the character needed to maybe be a little bit
a little more,
still
a little
like
stronger.
tied back. But yeah, there was one that was really emotional.
Yeah.
It's so funny as actors. Sometimes you're like, damn it, that was not the best take.
I know.
You just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Because they honestly they choose what they choose for a reason. So.
Right. The director will go in and they'll work.
believe.
Yeah, they'll work with the editor and the network to try and figure that out. What's something that do you remember a scene and something crazy that you did that got cut or something that you love that really broke your heart? Mine was definitely at the end of season 2 for when Bart directed. They cut an emotional scene.
Oh wait, what was the scene? Can you
It was where I was breaking the
yeah.
picture of me and Trace.
Yeah.
And before you guys say I cut him off after that question, I was giving him a moment to think because he looked a little puzzled. Everyone's always like, you're always talking. I'm like, that's the podcast. I'm trying to recap the episodes and do them justice. Michael likes to hang out. He's cool. He's chill over there.
Well, my thing is like, I just love listening to people speak, and then like sometimes when I hear people speak, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna ask them this, and then I'll just fall back into listening to them, and I forget what the fuck I was about to ask. I'm like, damn, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, man. And then I'm like, yeah, that's great, man.
I have to speak, and everyone's like, Gianni's speaking the whole episode. I'm like, I wish I wasn't. I hate my own voice. Gbenga. I'm sweating in here.
When I mean, that happens all the time. You shoot something and then they cut it but it happens all the time where they cut it in ways they're like, oh well, you could have got that, you could have got that.
Yeah.
So I love, like, I mentioned The Old Man before, and it's a show that I love. I love doing this show, and we trained for. I was training for like maybe a week or two. Like they had built this whole town, and where I was like storming this entire town to get this sniper. And so I go through building after taking out all these folks, and then making sure not to shoot the kids and this or that, it's get to the next out, all that stuff. With this really cool dude, he was a Navy SEAL who was training me like to do it proper, and then go up, then get to the building, then go up the building and taking out whoever, all that stuff, and shot it all beautifully. To eventually get into the right room, look for the sniper, and then and take out the sniper. So my team can now proceed on. And this small town was built just for this scene, which is why.
Damn.
And then when they had cut it, and it's like, I know you feel that. And then
I want to see it now.
We had coordinated this whole thing, room after room, building after building, entering, exiting.
It took days, right?
Running, yes,
Yeah.
it took days. And then and our fight team, like same fight team from John Wick. We had amazing stunt coordinators, and but like you said, they have to make their time. There's so many other things happening in the scene. I mean, in the episode besides that amazing thing that you put together. But like that, you know, it's like, oh, could they maybe just send it to me?
Yeah,
It's like,
right,
I can
right,
still
right,
throw it on
right.
the reel. I can still throw it on the reel. You know, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking as
Yo,
that is
and so
tough.
but no one who watches it will ever know.
Yeah, no
but
one
then
will know you did all
everyone's
of that.
like, oh, that's dope, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
But I did something else, man.
Yo,
I did a whole.
what
It is not
happened?
in there.
No,
It's such a good point though too, because it's like I was rereading the script for episode 306 after I watched the episode, and there's so much that just got cut because for time and for production purposes, for whatever
Yeah.
reasons, and so like we feel those losses when we know
Right, as writers.
But even as a viewer, it's like sometimes there's questions of like, well, that didn't quite track, and it's like it did in the script, and
Right.
we did shoot it. We just didn't have enough time to
just
include
couldn't-
it all
right,
in the
couldn't show
cut.
it.
We're just
Was
hoping
it-
you didn't notice.
Yeah.
Was there something specific that you remember that got cut from the episode?
So this, I had forgotten all the specifics until I reread the script, but there was a whole Drew and Everett storyline in episode 306 where Everett showed up at the repast and he and Drew had a hookup, and they kind of like, Drew threw the idea of like, what if I came back to Oklahoma City with you? And Everett's like,
I think I remember
you
that.
you should definitely get out of being with your family, but that maybe not that.
Right.
I remember that.
And it didn't make it. I don't remember if we shot it or not, but it definitely was in the script.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking. Come on. Everyone's asking for 90-minute episodes,
know.
all right? Make them longer, okay?
90
But
minutes.
pay the boys more. we do got to get paid more, but
You just realize the contradiction, right? A 90-minute episode costs more, but then pay the boys more. And then,
yeah. But here's the
I
thing.
think we solved it.
I didn't solve anything. Actually, I was going to be like, people are on the app more, but that doesn't make any more money for them. So the episodes are going to stay at 55 minutes.
And the boys are gonna continue to get paid what they make.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
I
us.
appreciate
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
Do you have to plug anything coming out? You got your movie coming out that you just shot.
Well,
Hell yeah, let 'em know.
that won't be out for a while. The Thicket, that was really dope. Make sure you check out season 2 of The Old Man. I am working currently on a death penalty case of a man named Billy Allen, and we have been trying to get Billy out of prison. He's been locked up for 26 years for a crime he did not commit, and he's on death row. So all his appeals are up, and they could, they can kill him anytime. So we're fortunate enough that Dr. Phil chose Billy's story to be the subject of the very last Dr. Phil episode that he's retiring, and it'll air in a month or so. So please stay tuned for that. His last hope is basically a presidential pardon. So we want to make sure we get as much attention to that case as possible. So yeah, you can you can find it on freebillyallen.com.
Free Billy Allen.
My company Liberated People will be selling a hoodie, a different hoodie than Trayvon hoodie, because we're also helping to support the Trayvon Martin Foundation, but a different hoodie to help raise money where some of the proceeds will be going towards the camp for Billy's campaign. So definitely check that out.
Hell yeah.
Damn, dude, Gbenga's doing all like cool shit for people, and I'm like, follow my TikTok, my YouTube, damn.
You got that million followers.
Yeah, I got you got the followers on TikTok, but I'm so sorry.
But no, but thank you for using your huge platforms for these cases. For this case,
Right.
I gave y'all some Trayvon hoodies, so now y'all definitely have to post wearing the
Yes.
Trayvon hoodies.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
so you're doing good work. So thank you for doing that.
Hell
We
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and I also appreciate a year ago when we were filming, Gbenga came up to Michael and I, and because Crew Has It probably was out for 3-4 months, and I will never forget that he came up to me. He's like, "What you guys are doing is absolutely incredible." I didn't really know Gbenga at this point, and he's like, "I'm so proud of you guys. You're using your voice. You're you're talking about the stuff that you love. You're having people come on and talk about what they love. So it really did mean a lot.
It
when
is
you
so
said that.
smart what you guys have been doing. I salute you. I talk about y'all to others. I'm on so many different sets. I'm like, yo, you see what these brothers are doing? Not just on this.
Damn, you call me brother.
But it's just really smart. You're taking hold of your career and then spinning in all the. I mean, it's just smart. And please pay it forward. Talk to other folks, actors coming out. Just teach them to do what you guys are doing. Incorporate them to doing and build like y'all are building
sir.
with other folks. It's great what you're doing.
Thank you
Hell
so
yeah,
much,
man.
Gbenga.
Appreciate
It
you.
really means a lot.
Absolutely.
And we respect you so much. Your work, everything, for real
Legend.
though.
I'm old.
You're a legend. Bro. You're a legend.
You a legend, man.
Monica,
As I said, I moved on from Power and from Ghost, so I'm working on a new project. It hasn't been announced yet. Hopefully, we'll be able to soon.
I'm gonna announce it when it happens. When the announcement comes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna announce it on here. I'm gonna replug Monica.
Thank you.
But Instagrams, like, make sure
Yeah,
you.
I'm Instagram at monica.c.mitchell. I like to post some behind the scenes.
She has the
pictures.
fires behind
Yep.
the scene.
I posted some
content.
stuff on Crew Has It yesterday.
cool.
Yeah.
She has the
Cool.
best
Yeah.
fire. She has the best behind the scenes
Thank you
content.
guys. You
Honestly.
guys, because everyone's so fun on set, so we
Yeah,
get to capture all that stuff. But yeah, that's where I do my most.
Benga, what's your Instagram?
At Gbenga Akinnagbe. Who's at what?
Yeah.
At GBENGA AKINNAGBE. Also at Liberated People.
Nice. We'll put that on the screen because it's I'm not smart.
I'm not smart.
Michael.
But Michael Rainey Jr. on Instagram and Where's 22 on Instagram and TikTok. Where's 22 on YouTube. Go subscribe. Yeah, we're doing cool stuff, and that's just it. You know?
Listen, this is why Michael Rainey Jr. is my brother, my best friend, everything. I was at 995K TikTok followers, and he posted a video of the boys together, and I hit that milli. Yeah. So that goes to Mike over there for the little boost, okay? But yeah,
Finally got that meal though.
yeah, finally got that mail. We got Gianni VPL on TikTok, Instagram. The Boys is going on tour.
Yeah, we out. We
Rhode
outside.
Island, May 6th. I'm coming home, baby.
Yeah. He's bringing me with him. You know, he's bringing me to the hometown. So we're gonna come turn up. I pull up on the boys.
That's
May
at Lit
6th.
Lounge on May 6th, and then the following weekend, the
We in
boys are
Canada.
going.
We in Canada.
Michael's taking me to the 6th.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him to
baby.
I'm taking him to the 6th. So yeah, we outside.
Yeah,
All
we
my
got some
people
hostings coming up, so check out for those dates. Thank you so much, Michael. Give us one.
Listen, man, the crew has it, baby. Yes, sir.
The crew has it, and you have it. Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you so much, Benga.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Absolutely.
So fun.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Thank you.
man.
I love that I got to be on it.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Monica.
you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.